Good evening, and welcome to another ecclesiastical episode of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now, here's your expedient and explicit host, Voice of Doom. Hello. I'm going to do another diatribe. I haven't done one in a day or two, and I'm sure everybody's missing me. All those people that don't watch. And in all the excitement, forgot it was Palm Sunday a couple days ago. And I guess it just comes and goes without me knowing it because of all the date changes all the time with Easter. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Easter and how it fits in with my main subject called Mobocracy. How do those two things tie in? Well, we'll see. Did a little research, did a little reading. Mobocracy is rule by mob. A synonym is ochlocracy, ochlocracy, rule by mob. And there is a term called kakistocracy, which is rule by the worst people. So I think we are in half a mobocracy and half a kakistocracy. Looked into mobocracy. Comes from the Latin term mobile vulgus, the fickle crowd. And they are fickle. Times in history when mobocracy took hold was in Rome around the 2nd century. Commodus was the emperor, and Cleander was his head of the Praetorian Guard. Now, apparently some guy that was running the food, and all goes back to food with mobs. Whenever you run out of food, then the mobs come. And some unscrupulous grain storer said there was a food shortage. It was all Cleander's fault. So the mob rose up and said, we want Cleander's head, and his best friend Commodus said, okay, I give you his head. So there the mob prevailed. We've seen mobs throughout history. We've seen mobs in the French Revolution where they stormed the Bastille, and mobs where they started cutting off heads all over the place. We've seen mobs at the border. No, that's not really a mobocracy, but it may be one day. You watch what happens. And there's mobs that take revenge, thinking World War II at the end when they, caught Mussolini, and the mobs did not treat him with much dignity. They hung him upside down and mocked and vilified him after he was dead. And there's mobs that drag rulers out of their houses and beat them to death, such as what happened to Gaddafi in Libya. So, there's mobs, and whether we have a mobocracy, it's very difficult because it's very hard for mobs to come up with, a consensus on what to do to solve a problem. So it's basically anarchy, which I guess we may as well have. Now, it always confused me around Easter time because it always happened sometime between March and April. You never knew when it was going to be. You knew it was going to be on a Sunday. We knew Easter was on a Sunday. And we knew that the Sunday before Easter was Palm Sunday. Now, when I was going to that white bread church in Seattle, suburbs, every Palm Sunday they would ship in a whole bundle of palm leaves and to distribute to everybody. And we'd hold a palm leaf. Now, I'm not talking about a frond. I'm just talking about one stem from the frond. We'd each have our stem, and then it was really fun. It was something different at church, because church got boring when you're 7, sitting through all that, and it was nice to have a palm leaf. And then when we got out of church, we'd take the palm leaves, and we figured out a way that you zip them. You pull a strand a certain way from the palm leaf, and then it shoots it out. So we're shooting palm leaves at each other. It was great fun. And the funnest part is we knew that Easter was on its way. In one short week, we would have the probably third best holiday on the calendar for kids after Halloween and Xmas. So we were looking forward to the chocolate and maybe a present or two and, you know, nice food. And I used to like Easter because my parents would let me have a glass of rosé with dinner. By the way, this is just Irish cream and coffee. But I used to enjoy that, and I think they thought, well, he's just 7 years old, so a little glass of wine, I'd drink the whole thing and ask for another. But let's get on to Easter. Another funny thing from when I was a kid is I was kind of an obsessive compulsive kind of a weirdo, and so since I didn't ever know, I always knew when Christmas was. It was December 25th. Everybody knows that. But since I never knew when Easter was, I'd get up every morning and look for Easter eggs. And that's true, I did. And finally I got tired of actually looking all over the house every single morning for eggs. So I would just look at one place that I knew they always hid an egg on the windowsill behind the curtain. Every year there was going to be an egg hidden back there. So I just got up every morning and looked behind the curtain for an egg. And if it wasn't there, I knew it wasn't Easter. And it's just a little quirk of mine. But I was always confused about why they tied Easter in with the lunar ecclesiastical full moon. It's supposed to be the first Sunday after the first ecclesiastical full moon on or after March 21st. So it can't happen before March 21st. And it's going to happen sometime after March 21st and mid-April or whatever, late April. I don't know. It's never been on my birthday, so it's called a movable feast. That's where Hemingway got that title, I guess, and I really don't know what a movable feast means. You can move the dates, and they figured it all out, 500 AD, and it's very boring. Just was always curious why they based Easter on astrology. Just doesn't make sense to me. It seems anathema to their dogma or their doctrines. But that's what they do, so you never know when Easter's going to show up. But getting back to mobs, I'm going to read a bit from the holiest of books. And this Word of God is not too bad. Getting into reading it is really not. It seems like a big, long book, but the Gospels aren't that long. You can read through them in a, few sittings. But I wanted to go back to Matthew, Saint, going back to the Passion, the Holy Week. Now, I'm going to read a little bit, and I'm going to have to find a page first, but I am going to read a bit. Pages are so thin. I gotta lick my fingers. And so, mobs. Now, St. Matthew, chapter 21. And when they drew nigh unto Jerusalem, and were come to Bethphage, unto the Mount of Olives, then sent Jesus 2 disciples, saying unto them, Go into the village over against you, and straightway ye shall find an ass tied, and a colt with her. Loose them, and bring them unto me. And if any man say aught unto you, ye shall say, The Lord hath need of them, and straightway he will send them. So I don't know what that means. Did he have prearranged things, or he just had faith that the guy would say, okay? But at any rate, he said, take the ass and the colt. Okay, I don't know. He was perfect. All this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, saying, tell ye the daughter of Sion, behold, thy king cometh unto thee meek, and sitting upon an ass, and a colt the foal of an ass. And the disciples went and did as Jesus commanded them, and brought the ass and the colt, and put them on their clothes, and they set them thereon. And a very great multitude spread their garments in the way. Others cut down branches from the trees and strawed them in the way. And the multitudes that went before and that followed cried, saying, Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest. And when he has come into Jerusalem, all the city was moved, saying, who is this? And the multitude said, this is Jesus, the prophet of Nazareth of Galilee. And Jesus went into the temple of God and cast out all them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seats of them that sold doves. And he said unto them, it is written, my house shall be called the house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves. And the blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them. And when the chief priests and scribes saw the wonderful things that he did, and the children crying in the temple and saying, Hosanna to the Son of David, they were not pleased, and said unto him, hearest thou what they say? And Jesus saith unto them, yea, have you never read, out of the mouth of babes and sucklings thou hast perfected praise? And he left them and went out into the city of Bethany, and he lodged there. Now in the morning, as he returned to the city, he hungered. And when he saw a fig tree in the way, he came to it, and found nothing thereon, but leaves only, and said unto it, let no fruit grow on this tree henceforth forever. And presently the fig tree withered away. And when the disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, how soon is the fig tree withered away? Jesus answered and said unto them, verily I say unto you, if ye have faith and doubt not, ye shall not only do this which is done to the fig tree, but also if ye shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, it shall be done. And all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing, ye shall receive. Now, the multitude were praising Jesus on Sunday, Palm Sunday, singing Hosanna to the highest. Let's move on. Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday he preaches. Thursday, Last Supper. Arrested in the Garden of Gethsemane after he asked God to not make him go through what he has to go through. And he's taken to the high priest, and they kind of, say, yeah, you're guilty, but we can't put you to death. We got to take you to this guy Pilate. Taken to Pilate. Now then, let's go to chapter 27 of St. Matthew, verse 11. And Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, art thou the king of the Jews? And Jesus said unto him, thou sayest. And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Then said Pilate unto him, hearest thou not how many things I witness against thee? And he answered him to never a word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. Now at that feast the governor was wont to release unto the people a prisoner whom they would. And they had then a notable prisoner called Barabbas. Therefore when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto the crowd, who will you have me release unto you, Barabbas or Jesus, which is called Christ? For he knew that for envy they had delivered him. When he sat down on the judgment seat, his wife sent unto him, saying, have thou nothing to do with that man, that just man, for I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. But the chief priests and elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy Jesus. The governor answered, whether of the twain will I release unto you? They said, Barabbas. Pilate said unto them, What shall I do then with Jesus, which is called Christ? They all said unto him, Let him be crucified. 4 days later. Okay? The fickle crowd. So just consider that a bit, and I will wish you a Merry Easter. I might do another installment because this went longer than I thought, but I thought I'd start showing you how the mob, sic transit gloria, 4 days. He's hailed as a hero, he's hailed as a prophet, he's hailed as the son of David on Sunday, and by Friday he's hanging on a cross. Interesting. People should think about that. And the fig tree thing I find interesting because I don't know why he had to curse a fig tree, but I know there's some deep meaning to it somewhere. But that's like 3 things that he did wrong. So when you say that he was a perfect person dying for our sins, he ran away from his parents when he was a kid. He overturned the temple, which even if he didn't like it, you just don't do that. And that was a pretext for them having him crucified in the first place, which I guess he wanted to make a pretext. So you can rationalize, I can rationalize how things went down. But the third thing was about this ass thing, because he said just go grab him. So I don't know what that meant, but you can make of it what you will. It's just little trivia snippets of stuff about Easter, which I found interesting. So I'll wish you a happy Holy Week. We got Maundy Thursday coming up, so I'm going to be washing feet all day. And then we got Good Friday. I don't know what I'm doing. Probably working. But we'll see. Have a good day and a good week. Sic Semper Tyrannis? No. Sic Transit Gloria. All right then. Goodbye.